Hi everybody. So in today's video, I'm just going to walk you through how to use some of the Workplane features. There's a lot of them, so I'm not going to be able to cover all of them, but once you get used to using one or two, you can start exploring with the other options to see what their capabilities are. You can use it in your project, whatever kind of advanced project you were working on Friday. If you have not started the advanced project yet, that's okay, and you can incorporate some of these Workplane options in that idea as well. So if we take a look at my design here, I've created an hourglass. Now I'm not going to walk you through the entire operation of how I create the hourglass, but I'm going to show you how I used Workplanes to create the glass bulb effect. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to create a new sketch. So I go to New Design, and I'm going to create a new sketch on the XY plane. And here I'm just going to start with a circle. And again, your dimensions can differ, but I started with a 1-inch diameter circle. Okay. And then I'm going to finish that sketch. Now, under the construct option, you have lots of different planes and points and axes options. All of these are really good reference tools that can be used once you've completed a sketch. So I'm going to start off with the more common, which is the offset plane. And basically it creates a plane or a work surface that you can create pretty much anywhere in the XYZ space. So I'm going to click offset plane. And you're going to notice on the right side it says they want you to select what plane option you are going to reference or what you're going to offset from. So I'm just going to click the circle itself because that's what I'm going to parallel my next circle off of, and then it asks you how far away you want that plane to be. So I'm going to make mine 2 inches, so I can type in 2, and then I can just click OK, or I can click Enter, and it creates a new plane for me. So if you notice as I rotate around, okay, in the space, it's 2 inches above that circle. So on this work plane now, I can create a new sketch. So I can click Create Sketch, and now I can select that plane. Now the beauty of when you select a work plane is it actually allows you to see through to the other sketches you've already created. And another reason why I'm using the origin is it gives me a good reference point so I can make sure all of my circles are concentric and they're around the same axes. So I'm going to create another circle, start at the origin center, click and drag out, and I'm going to make this a 4-inch diameters. I'm going to finish the sketch. And as you can see, if I rotate around, right, they kind of hover over each other. So to complete the orb, I'm going to do one more offset plane off of the newly created circle, and I'm going to do the same spacing. So I'm going to do another 2 inches. The size of the rectangular space does not matter. It is merely used as a reference from the previous sketch. So this work plane itself actually extends across the entire XY plane. It's not confined to this colored space. So I'm going to create a new sketch on that work plane. And I'm going to create another circle. Again, I'm going to use my origin, and I'm going to create another 1-inch. So it kind of bubbles out and comes back together. And then I'm going to finish the sketch. So to create this kind of glass ball effect, underneath Create there is an option called Loft. And what Loft does is it creates 3D solid material between two shapes. So you can do this, as you can see in the picture, you can do this with the same shape or different shapes, and it will automatically blend the two edges together, which is kind of a cool effect. All right, so I'm going to loft, and when I click loft, I'm going to select the first circle. Then I'm just going to go in order. And as you can see, as I do that, it starts to bubble out. I'm going to click OK. All right, so that's my first glass ball. And again, you guys can play around with the dimensions if you want to make it a certain size or shape. Feel free to change those dimensions. Once that's done, I'm going to do the exact same thing on top of this. So on the top of here, right, I'm going to create a new sketch. I'm going to create a circle, same size, 1 inch. Finish the sketch, and I'm just going to repeat that process. So I select offset plane. I'm going to go a distance of 2 inches. I'm going to create a new sketch on this work plane up here. I'm going to create another circle that's 4 inches in diameter. Finish the sketch. Create another offset plane, another 2 inches above that. Create another sketch, and this will be another 1 inch diameter circle. Finish the sketch. And now I can just use the Loft tool again, and I can connect the 3 pieces. But again, you guys can play around with the dimensions if you want to make it look a certain way. And I click OK, and I'm done. Now, some of you may be wondering, can you use the mirror tool to mirror this first orb over a work plane to the second orb? So the only thing that I noticed about it is when I did it is because of the way it was lofted, it created some 3D modeling render issues, and that's what was causing a problem. I checked it out before the video. If you guys are going through it and you find a different way of doing that and you can mirror it, let us know in the classroom, and so we can share that information with everybody. And then here you want to be able to change your bulb material, because right now it's this steel, and that's just the appearance. So I went into appearance, and in this case I'm going to get rid of this steel option. I'm going to type in glass, and you notice I have a bunch of different glass options. So I actually ended up choosing the glass window option. So again, you're going to click and pull that in here. We are going to keep. Right? And then the other thing is, if you guys want to be able to change the design a little bit, if this is not to your liking, what you can do is in the design component, you can actually edit it. So if you right click and go to edit on the image itself, it gives you the color palette, so you can adjust how glassy you want the thing to look. All right, so if I move my window around here, let's move this over. All right, so as I change the colors, you guys can see the effect that it gives off, and I can change the colors up here as well. So if I want a little bit more of a blue hue or a purple hue, right, and then I can click done. So it has that glass ball effect. And then from here, I just built my framework around it. And if you guys get to that point or you want help with that today, I am more than willing to do that. But I figured you guys might want to create your own contraption to hold the hourglass together, if you even want to make an hourglass. Again, you guys don't have to do this. I just showed you this as a way to use the Workplane tool. And again, there's lots of different options. They all work pretty similarly. It kind of just depends on what you're using it for. But again, feel free to play around with that today as you're working on your advanced project design. Okay, great. If you guys have questions, as always, ask me, Ms. B, and we'll be there to help you. All right, enjoy.